Hi everyone. What we're going to be working on today is factoring and kind of laying the foundation for the rest of the chapter. So factoring is when we rewrite an expression as the product of its factors. In other words, when we take an expression and we can say it's something times something equals that expression, okay? And these values right here are the factors. So the first thing we talk about is taking out the greatest common factor, and that's the largest factor that would be common to two or more expressions or values. So when we look at the number 15, we say to ourselves, well, what numbers multiply to equal 15? Well, of course, we have 1 and 15, and then we also have 3 and 5. And I try to put these in order, so you saw how I write them. It might be helpful to do that. Then we look at the factors of 18. So I know 1 times 18 equals 18. I know it's an even number, so 2 times 9 equals 18. And I also know that 3 times 6 equals 18. So those are all the factors of 18. Now what I have to do is look for the biggest one that they have in common. So I start with the short list and I say, well, 15 is not in that list. 5, not in that list. 3, 3. That right there and that right there they have in common. So the greatest common factor of 15 and 18 is 3. And of course, wouldn't it be great if we could just deal with numbers and not variables? But this is algebra 2, so of course we're going to deal with some variables. So let's look at the next example. And now I'm looking for the greatest common factor of 8x squared y and 12x to the 5th y to the 3rd. So I'm going to think about the factors of 8. So 1 times 8 and 2 times 4. And then I'll think about the factors of 12. I know 1 times 12. A lot of numbers go into 12. 2 times 6. And then 3 times 4. So I'm focusing on the coefficient first. Start with my short list. It's not 8. Oh, look, 4 and 4. So I know the greatest common factor is 4, and that goes for at least the coefficients. So I know I'm going to be taking out a 4. When we look to the variables, we have x squared and x to the 5th. Well, I can only take x squared out of x squared. So it'll always be, when the variables have the common base, it'll always be the variable with the smaller exponent. So it would be x squared. And then looking at the y's, I have y to the 1st and y to the 3rd. So again, I have to go with the lowest exponent, which is y to the 1st. Now, this particular problem asked us just to take out the greatest common factor, or to find the greatest common factor, but what we will be doing is we will be actually taking that out or factoring that out. So what that means is this. It's like the opposite of distribution. Instead of multiplying something into these two terms, we would be taking it out. So you know what, I'll get to that later. We'll do that a little bit later. Let's just focus on taking the GCF for this. We'll do it for this problem. Okay, so we're going to start again here. Same idea, but now notice I have plus and minus. Okay, so again, taking out the GCF is almost like saying what value was multiplied into 3 terms to make them this. So I look at 10, 25, and 30. So for 10, we have 1, 10, 2, and 5. For 25, I have 1 times 25, and then 5 times 5. And for 30, I'm already seeing something that's common here. So does 30 have the 5? Yes, it does. I'm not even going to list out all the other ones because we already have it. 10 and 25 only had 5 in common, so makes it a little easier to look at. So 5. Let's look at our variables. We have x squared, x to the 5th, x cubed. So I'm going to take out x squared. And then we have y to the 4th, y squared, and y. So I'm going to take out the y. So this is what I was talking about up here. Now what we'll actually do is we will actually divide that out of each term up here. So if you notice what I did is I set up a little plus and minus to bring this down and to bring this down. And so we're dividing this by 5x squared y. We're dividing this term by 5x squared y. And we're dividing this term by 5x squared y. So using what we know, 10 divided by 5 is 2, x squared over x squared, they cancel, y to the 4th over y, we subtract those exponents and get y cubed. 25 divided by 5 gives us 5. X to the 5th divided by x squared, again we subtract our exponents, we get x cubed. Y squared over y gives us y. Keep it going. 30 divided by 5 is 6. X cubed divided by x squared, we subtract our exponents, we get x. Y divided by y, those cancel. So this right here is actually equal to what we started with. We just factored out our GCF, our greatest common factor. And if you ever wanted to check this, the way you could check it is you could multiply the 5x squared y back in and see if you get what you started with. So I'm going to do a couple of these with you, and then you'll have to do the rest on your own. So let's look here, 3 and 9. So I know only numbers that go into 3 are 1 and 3, and 3 goes into 9, so I know I can take out a 3. A squared, take out the smaller exponent. B cubed, b squared, take out the variable with the smaller exponent. Now I like to set up my parentheses and bring down my signs so I don't forget anything. And I'm now going to divide each of these terms. And you can either write this out like I'm doing it, or you can do it in your head. Some people are good to just do it in their head. But 3 divided by 3 is 1. A over A cancels. B cubed over B squared, you subtract that exponent, those exponents, and you get B. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Notice I already have my addition sign there. I like to do that so I don't lose it. A squared divided by A is just A, subtracting those exponents. And B squared divided by B squared cancels out, reduces to 1. Okay, so you are going to finish the rest of this worksheet. Have a great day, everybody.